All right, it's Kentucky Derby season. I appreciate you guys for being here. Earlier in the week, we looked at the three favorites for the race in the early betting, that being Renegade, Further Ado, and Commandment. Yesterday, we took a look at a big long shot who we think is going to make the early lead in this race. Today, we're going to get back to the main contenders. The Puma for Gustavo Delgado is the fourth choice in betting markets right now. For a pedigree note before we watch his races, the Puma's a son of Essential Quality. This is Essential Quality's first crop of 3-year-olds. And Essential Quality was a very, very nice Brad Cox horse. The only two times he was ever beaten in his career, he was fourth beaten a length in the Kentucky Derby and was third in the Breeders' Cup Classic. But you see Essential Quality here won the Belmont Stakes at 1.5 miles, so he could get a distance. And the Puma is out of a mare named Eve of War, who was by Declaration of War. Declaration of War, a Group 1 winner in Europe at over 1.25 miles. And Declaration of War handled the dirt. He ran third in the Breeders' Cup Classic in his only career dirt start. So good distance pedigree there on the Puma. The second Dam Bedankin actually won a graded stakes race at 9.5 furlongs, which is the Preakness distance. So nothing about the pedigree says he can't get a classic distance. With that said, we'll get into the Puma's races. And he debuted January 10th at Gulfstream going 7 furlongs. And there was some hype to this horse coming into the race. Gustavo Delgado doesn't have very many horses, but he did train the 2023 Kentucky Derby winner, Mage. And these are the past performances for Mage. You see Gustavo Delgado, the trainer. And Mage also debuted in January of his 3-year-old season going 7 furlongs at Gulfstream. Now, he wasn't bet as heavily, wasn't as much hype with Mage coming in. He went off at 11-1 that day and won nicely. But his trainer, Gustavo Delgado, was a pretty low-profile trainer at the time, and with Mage stepping up and winning the Kentucky Derby, his profile was certainly enhanced by that as a trainer. Mage was a horse early in his career. You know, he was kind of hampered by some slow starts, hit the gate here, off slow. And he also had wide trips. You see 5 wide in his second start, 5 wide in the Florida Derby, won the Kentucky Derby in only his 4th career start. So getting back to the Puma, he debuts on a Saturday at Gulfstream going 7 furlongs, takes surprising money in the betting. There was some hype about him from the clockers, and Gustavo Delgado really liked this horse, and so the bettors showed up, and we're going to watch this January 10th race right now. The Puma's breaking from post position number 5, saddlecloth number 5, doesn't have the best of breaks in this race. You'll see it now.
And they're off. Not a good start for the Puma. Was a good start for Nanosecond, who heads off for the early advantage from Chief Wallaby, who moves to take second. Moving at the rail, Al Arica is now moving into traffic, and up on the outside, the Puma angles for a clear shot after a slow break. Widest of all, that's Halogen, and from between horses, Municipal. Eternal Dream is the gray at the rail. The early trailer is Diamond Knife. Fanned right across the course here in the run to the opening quarter. It's Al Arica and Tyler Gaffleon challenging for control with Eternal Dream right alongside in second. It's a 4-wide commit for the Puma, 3-wide Nanosecond. All of this is good news for Chief Wallaby. He's 5th behind the speed with options on where he wants to race as they went 22-4 on the opening quarter side of things. Around the far turn they go, less than 3 furlongs remains. Javier Castellano, he's been very aggressive on the Puma. We'll see what he's got. Back to second is Nanosecond. Here's Chief Wallaby confidently handled in into third. Alarica working overtime. Halogen sent to light by jockey Joel Rosario on the far outside. They're a 1/4 mile from home through a 1/2 mile and 45-3. The Puma, he has the lead. He'll have to turn back Chief Wallaby, who angles to his flank and tries to go get him. Final 1/8 of a mile. Here comes Chief Wallaby, and he's too much for the Puma, but these two both have serious talent as they've pulled well clear of the others. It's a Bill Mott debut winner, Chief Wallaby in front. The Puma second. You'll hear from both of them all season long. Alarica is third, close fourth.
All right, so that was the Puma's debut, and the track announcer certainly was correct there. These two horses end up being the eventual second-place finisher in the Florida Derby and the eventual third-place finisher in the Florida Derby. Usually when a horse runs second in a maiden special weight race, a trainer's real excited to get him back into another maiden special weight race, get his maiden win out of the way, but Gustavo Delgado clearly has his sights set on the Kentucky Derby, and so second time out, he steps the Puma up into a stakes race, the Sam Davis at Tampa, where he runs into Renegade, who will be the Derby favorite. We'll watch the Sam Davis now, and the Puma's going to get trapped inside in this race, really not have much room. And what was only his second career start and his first try going long, so we'll watch it now. All right, so here is the Sam Davis. The Puma is number 3.
And the race is on in the Sam F. Davis Stakes. Confessional got away beautifully from the inside and reaches right out for the air to lead. Wayne's Law flashing some speed. The Puma's right between them. Game 4, it's up close, but had to tap on the brakes there momentarily as Dr. Kapoor going to be 3 or 4 wide as they run into that turn. It's Wayne's Law, long shot up with Confessional. Those are the top 2. Game 4 to 4 wide, Dr. Kapoor. They move up 3rd and 4th. Then comes Epic Desire. The Puma's after that. Ocelli moves up 3 wide from 7th. It's 4 more then back to Renegade. And the early trailer is long shot max capacity. As up front, it's Wayne's Law who leads them through an opening quarter, 23.80 seconds. So they start their backstretch journey here in the Sam F. Davis Stakes. And it's Wayne's Law and Marcos Meneses up top by a half a length to Game Forward, who now emerges a clear second. Confessional stays down toward the inside along with the Puma. Dr. Kapoor is outside of them. It's another length back to Epic Desire. Ocelli right to that one's outside. Renegade's getting a little closer, steering toward the outside. And max capacity continues to trail. 3.5 furlongs remaining off an opening half, 48.30 seconds. Wayne's Law has made every yard thus far. Game for it. The first to take a real crack at this leader. Ocelli looping up 4 deep on the far outside, trying to rally. Confessional's right there, the Puma. Here comes Renegade. Renegade launching up on the outside, trying to circle past rivals. Wayne's Law is still in front. At the quarter pole, it's Wayne's Law. Game for it, trying to push on by. Renegade continues that 4-wide sweep. Ocelli got stopped there. Confessional's going to need a seam as they wind around to the top of the stretch. Here comes Renegade. Renegade trying to come after Wayne's Law. The Puma looking for room in behind. Then comes Game for it. Confessional's back to the inside, and Ocelli, Renegade takes over from Wayne's Law, who's a stubborn foe, but Renegade inching clear late. Renegade and Irad Ortiz Jr. to win the Sam F. Davis. They won it by 3 in the end. Wayne's Law ran a big one for second. The Puma was third. Game for it.
Okay, so that was the Puma and the Sam Davis there. You saw he was kind of locked in at a key point in the race on the turn. Was a little green in that race, kind of needed the experience, and finally got clear running late, but the bird had flown at that point. Renegade came circling wide with a strong move, and the Puma had to settle for third. From there, Gustavo Delgado went back to the well, run the Puma in the Tampa Bay Derby, and the Puma's going to break his maiden in the Tampa Bay Derby here, and he does it with a wide sweeping move. Beats Further Ado, come back and win the Grade 1 Bluegrass by 11 in his next start. And without further ado, here is the Puma winning the Tampa Bay Derby. The Puma is number 8.
And the race is on in the S-Mark Tampa Bay Derby. Power Shift hopped just a touch at the start. Redland Rebels was out in good order. Further Ado and talking right between them. Those are the top 3. As Canaletto tries to find his spot. 4th to the outside. Going to be cast out about 4 deep as they run into that turn. In behind them, Hulkamania Power Shift in on tight on heels there. Just in behind runners. Thunderbuck is after that. Canaletto's about 5 or 6 paths wide now. Roger that. Dana is second last. The Puma is the early trailer. As Redland Rebels and Junior Alvarado to dictate terms. Redland Rebels to the backstretch. 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile, so they settle in for that backstretch run. It's Redland Rebels a length and 3/4 in front of Talkin. Further Ado, well placed third to the outside. Length and a half more then back to Canaletto, who moves up on the outside of Power Shift. Hulkamania stays to their inside. After that is Thunderbuck, who's racing along in that 7th position. The Puma's out of last. Roger that. Dana the long shot is now the trailer. So there's a half mile left to go in the S-Mark Tampa Bay Derby. 46.68 seconds was the opening half-mile time. It's long shot Redland Rebels, who's led throughout. Talkin is second, pushed along. Further Ado glides up from third. Down on the inside, Hulkamania. Canaletto giving a bit of a cue. The Puma is 4 or 5 wide as they wind around that turn. Redland Rebels, Further Ado coming after this long-time leader. Canaletto's 3 deep. The Puma 4 wide and is on the move. Talkin's in behind horses. Hulkamania stays down toward the inside as they wind around to the top of the stretch. The Puma and Canaletto out 4 and 5 wide respectively coming after Further Ado. Redland Rebels still battling on. They're 4 across the track as they come to the 8th pole. On the outside, the Puma, Canaletto, Further Ado right there. Redland Rebels not done as they have a final 16th to go. The Puma, Further Ado, these two go on. Canaletto's between them. The Puma's in front late. The Puma wins the Tampa Bay Derby. Second was tight. I think it was Further Ado over Canaletto. Redland Rebels ran a big one in.
Right, so in just career start number 3, the Puma wins the Tampa Derby with that 5 wide sweeping move through the far turn. And you're going to see that patented wide far turn move again in the Florida Derby, which was his next start. Again, set off at 7-1 odds. The Puma, he's improving. He's got those 3 runs in him. Here is his Florida Derby. All right, the Puma, number 8. Going to have to go wide again.
And they're off. Good start for Wayne's Law on his outside, timeless victory, and in between them, nearly got away cleanly. Chief Wallaby is out the rail. He's on a hold from Junior Alvarado and races in 4th. The 2 at the back are the Puma and Commandment. Around the first turn they go. They're chasing long shot Wayne's Law, who's on top by a length and a half. Second is Nearly. He's in a comfortable position in a flanking role with Chief Wallaby third at the inside. Back to 4th in timeless victory. Patient at the back, Commandment and the Puma. The field separated by 4 lengths as they pass the opening quarter. That opening quarter was quite reasonable, just 24 seconds flat. Wayne's Law the leader. John Velasquez has Nearly right where he wants him, on the hip of the leader while in the clear second. Junior Alvarado is tucked in third with Chief Wallaby from timeless victory, who's now 4th. Castellano guides the Puma to the clear. He's up on the outside second last. And at the back of the field is a patient Flavian Pratt on Commandment, last of the 6 with less than 5 furlongs to race. The opening half mile was 48-4 as they make their way to the final half mile of the 75th Florida Derby. It's Nearly turning up the pressure on Wayne's Law. Timeless victory is third. Locked in the box is Chief Wallaby. On the far outside, it's the Puma. He's poised to pounce. A gap of 2 more to Commandment, who's at the back of the field as the pace quickens and they swing around the far turn. Castellano moving on the Puma. He gets within a half a length of Nearly, who tries to quicken away. Dropping back to third is Wayne's Law. Swung to the center. Commandment working to the clear, Chief Wallaby. Less than a quarter of a mile to go, and the Puma has made the lead. The Puma sticks a neck in front of Nearly as they straighten away in the stretch drive. Chief Wallaby trying to angle off their flank down the center. Commandment. The 4 big shots with an eighth of a mile more to decide it. The Puma has the lead. Running at him from the outside is Commandment. In between horses, Chief Wallaby. A thrilling finish to the Florida Derby. Here comes Commandment. The Puma tries to turn him back. It's a win photo. It's an inch and a half either way. It's the Puma on the inside. It's Commandment on the outside.
All right, so excellent performance there from the Puma in the Florida Derby. Losing a nose bob for the win, but ran his eyes out. And Gustavo Delgado and Javier Castellano, they teamed up to win a Kentucky Derby with Mage. Similar kind of pattern. Both horses debuted in January, going 7 furlongs at Gulfstream. Both horses kind of improved steadily going into the race. You know, both horses had some wide trips in their prep races. The question is, does the Puma have a big forward move in him? And he's going to need to step forward to win the Kentucky Derby. Mage was able to do it. The Puma currently your 4th choice in the early betting. and thankfully, this horse isn't named the Cougar because, the Kentucky Derby, you get a lot of casual bettors, a lot of one-time-a-year bettors that come out, and they'll play names. And the Puma's got kind of that cool name that they might like, but boy, if he was named the Cougar, he would probably get some money bet on him from some very unsophisticated people who just bet names. But that is the Puma. 3-year-old colt from the first crop of essential quality. Gustavo Delgado and Javier Castellano looking to team up for another Kentucky Derby win like they did in 2023. Thank you guys for watching.